going to start. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Off the Couch Boxing. I am your host, Reckless Rexx Ruger, along with El Flaco Explosivo, the Alexis Arguello puppet.
And I'm your other host, Frank Bengz, a.k.a. the hash-slinging slasher. Welcome back, folks.
Oh, that was dirty pool right there, man. You dirty dog, you, man. You snuck an AKA in, man, and I can't even find my fucking list. Jesus, you got me good. You got me good. And hopefully, people that are watching out there right now, man, you have already done your just due and have liked and subscribed to the channel. And please like and follow us on Facebook as well. Continuing to bring you the utmost in killer content with some more coming right now as our guest is here. So let's get down to it and chop it up with him. I guess we'll jump right in on his nickname when we get him in here, man.
There you go.
Oh no, I don't know if I want to say anything about his nickname. Jesus Christ, he's fucking huge. Never mind, champ. Never mind. I take it all back. I take it all back. Benji said it all. Oh wait, we lost your camera there. We lost your camera.
He's outside. He's outside moving around. That's what it is.
Oh, there he is. There he is. There he is, man. Hey, you know what, man? You know what? First of all, man, me and Benji's are big nickname guys, man. You know, your name is Timothy Moten, but I like rolling with Mayhem. It really flows nicely.
Yeah, Mayhem, man. I think me and my fiance figured that out one day. Just kind of was talking with a few, and figuring out how my style is, and Mayhem worked. It worked. They rolled with it. Timothy Mayhem Moten.
There's not yet. I mean, you know, a lot of people don't think. Yeah, you got to have the skills and you got to be able to fight. But you know, it's all about marketability, man. You know what I mean? It's got to look good on the on the back of a pair of trunks or up on a billboard. You know?
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Now, a lot of people don't know this, man. But you know, I was actually turned on to you by Tim Ray.
Yeah, Timmy. He's a vet from Louisville. He's a vet from Louisville. He's followed me my whole career. He was even around, and I spoke to him when I was an amateur because one of my coaches that I used to box with was one of his coaches at one point in time. They were all fighting around the same time and helping each other out. So yeah, Timmy Ray, that's my guy. Yeah, shout out to Tim Ray.
Yeah, shout out to Tim Ray, who's also really trying to help out Ika Bayabuchi right now. Our buddy, man. Who's 50 years old, who would like a shot at some of these top heavyweights. I don't know if you know Ika Bayabuchi's story.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's our guy right there, man. That's our guy, the president. So, you know, anybody that's out there, man, look, if it's Shannon Briggs or whoever the hell it is, you know, somebody get in the ring and let Ike knock the rust off a little bit because I think he could do a number on some of these top heavyweights. You know what? He's a young 50 years old.
Yeah, Ika Bayabuchi is he's a monster. Yeah, one of my favorite fighters that I watch is David Tua, so I've seen the David Tua Bayabuchi fight multiple times.
Yeah, now you want to talk about mayhem? That's mayhem right there. Those guys threw. I mean, you know, those guys threw almost 1,800 punches, which is crazy for a heavyweight fight.
Crazy. That was crazy.
Yeah. Insane. So, how did you get your start in boxing, man? How does a guy like you get into boxing? You beating the shit out of a lot of kids in school?
So the way I got my start in boxing is I played football.
Yeah,
and, when I played football, I was always overweight, but I was right at the line of being able to run the football and being able to having to be a lineman. They put an X on your helmet when you're a young kid, showing that you're the heavy guys. Yeah. So I told my dad, I was like, man, I want to try to run the ball because I had ran it the previous year, and he was like, all right, I know something that we could do. I used to box, so I'm gonna take you to the gym. My dad took me to the gym, and in one summer, I wanted to go back to football, but he was like, you know, you're winning. You lost the first couple fights, but you're winning. You're doing good. Let's see what you can do with this. And then I started enjoying and liking the fact that when I won, it was me. It wasn't a team aspect. It was me winning. If I didn't do what I was supposed to do, then that was on me. But if I worked and I did double the work, then that would also benefit me instead of having to have the guy next to me or the right of me double it down, you know?
Yeah. So. And I should add, Benji's, congratulations, obviously, man. You just won a fight, like a mere couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah, like I think January 20th.
January 20th. Yeah, we got rid of. According to my records, we got rid of this guy in the first round. Out of there.
Yeah, out of there. Yeah,
yeah.
We brought a guy in from Argentina because a lot of guys now, for the commission to approve you to fight me, it has to you gotta check off a few boxes. So with me being 10-0, they didn't want a guy who was under the 50-50 line. You gotta it's certain things the commission deems that you have to do. So he had to have a 50-50 record, or his record needed to be winning, or he couldn't have been knocked out in his last like 4 fights straight or something like that.
Interesting.
So with all of that, and a lot of people don't know that. So like,
Yeah, I've never
I know
heard
a
that
lot.
before.
Me neither.
Yeah, so like a lot of people think that that we can just pick who we want to fight, and the business side to it is something completely different. And we had to bring this guy from Argentina because a lot of the guys in the region here, at the level of guys that I'm fighting, at the level that I need to step up to, they wouldn't either get approved or they wanted too much money. I'm not signed with a promoter. I don't have a big backing with a manager or nothing. So this is coming off of ticket sales. Getting these guys, paying these guys is coming off of my ticket sales. And for me and the promoter in the city, his name is Lee Kuiper. For me and him to be able to, I'm sorry. Hush.
That's all right, man. Listen, man, if your dog wants to chime in on this interview, that's fine. Anything goes here with us, man.
So for me and him to be able to sell, we sold out the Muhammad Ali Center. And that was enough, that paid for my opponent to get here, for his expenses. And we gave the proceeds and everything to the Ali Center. So, the fight, I didn't make any money. But it was a step in the right direction for me because it was so tough finding guys that are around the level that I need to compete with, and still are their cost is not too crazy for me not to be able to deal with because I don't have a promoter.
Right.
So now everything's being generated off of my ticket sales and how much I can sell so that I'm able to pay for that next guy, because these guys are coming from ESPN fights and fighting on Top Rank and
more exposure.
Yeah. So these guys are used to getting that, and then they're used to getting those types of checks. But when a guy like me who's not signed to that, but I'm still at the same win rate as a Richard Torres, and I'm right in the mix with like Jared Anderson. All of our records are within 5 or 6 fights of each other. I don't have that backing to pay for these guys, so I'm doing it off of ticket sales.
Right.
So that's the reason. So when I brought this guy in, I was thinking to myself, okay, he's going to be another guy that's going to give me some rounds so I can really see what I can work and do. I had put in a better camp than my last 5 camps, my last 5 fights. This was the best camp. I linked up with a new coach. Me and my coach Josh at Derby City, we was able to structure a camp. I was training at 5 in the mornings. It was out of the way of everything because I'm still a working guy and I got a family at home.
I hear that.
We was at, we went back to the old school ways. Wake up at 5 in the morning, get a workout in.
Amen.
Get something in at lunch, and then if we can do something at night, then get it at night. But otherwise, we back at it again in the morning. And I think that showed in this fight, man. I felt like my power was there. I was more crisp to the punch instead of coming out lackadaisical. I was sharp, so I'm definitely ready for the next one to come.
Is it like a personal thing? You want to be independent, or like a promoter just hasn't approached you, or like?
So I've been approached by some promoters, but they wasn't approaching me. And so when I went to camp with Joshua, I linked up with some guys there in London, and I had met them. I met some guys in Miami when I went to camp with Luis Ortiz, and these are the guys that I reach out to when I get offers. A lot of these guys, when they take these offers and they take these step ups, they're not ready for them, and they get blown away, and then you never see them again.
Right.
These guys that are coming from the outside, they get blown away. You never seen them again. So one thing with me was I was getting these offers from them the same time as these other guys that I see are getting them and that are on TV fighting. But I knew that I wasn't ready. Like in my mind, I knew that I needed to still sharpen some stuff. I needed to get my camp together. I needed to train right, because I know from being a student and just a boxing enthusiast what you have to do when you get to that level. If you're not competing or training at that level, you're gonna get blasted out.
Yeah.
And then you gotta go back down the ladder and work your way back up.
That's one thing about boxing. Yeah, you can't half-ass it. You can't half-step.
No, you can't. You can't at all. So I'm just to the point to where when I get on that level and I get that stage, the contracts and the money that they were sending was crazy, crazy low. And with me having the connections in Joshua's camps and Luis Ortiz's camps, I was able to send them, and they were like, "Nah, don't do that. Keep doing what you're doing and building. You're doing right. You know, those little belts matter. Let's go try to go for NABA or NABF or NABO gold and things like that. NABA gold belt was one I was looking at. So I think that those offers they were coming, but the more that I win, I see the money creeps up.
Yeah.
And the more that I can do for myself, I feel like the better it'll be when those offers do come.
I think that sounds like good advice. That sounds like good advice, though, man. Building your resume.
I mean, in this social media age, almost anything independent is possible now. Like we can do anything we want, bro. You put a couple videos on TikTok and you knocking some dudes out. Yeah. And all of a sudden your page got 2 million followers.
Man, look at
you knocking them out.
Look at Jake Paul, man. Jake Paul making top deal money, but it's because he developed a following. He's got the ticket sales. He can do that. So he can maneuver the way he wants to.
Even Ryan Garcia.
Right. He came out the gate, he got picked up that way. So with me, I wanted to build a base back home, but man, I'm itching to get those. When I fight and I get the fights with the Richard Torreses and the big babies and the Jared Andersons and them guys like that, the Contus, all them guys on Top Rank. When I get in that mix, I want it to be like, man, you did such a hell of a job in that fight and beating this guy or beating that guy. We want you to turn around and fight this guy.
You've earned your spot. Yeah.
Yeah, you earned your spot. Exactly. Yeah. You stay right here with us. So that's what I want it to be. So that's why after my fight before this one, I got a draw against the guy. And it was just because I simply didn't have a good camp. It was everywhere. I was trying to do everything myself and it just wasn't a good camp. And then I went to Miami. And that's what happened with that 2 years I was kind of off. Was I went to Miami and I was back and forth between Miami and training and developing my team here at home so that I can run my own camps and do my thing here. And it finally came to last year was the first, I say about halfway through that year. I was supposed to fight December 9th in Indianapolis, and that didn't go through. But I was able to keep, my camp was so strong and we was able to just keep going that it ran right into January for a bigger event here in Louisville. Yeah. So I'm excited. I'm excited about this year.
Now, what's your assessment of the current heavyweight division, man? Are there any guys, like you've dropped a couple of names already, man, but like if you had your way and you could put your own promoter hat on, and obviously you seem to have a pretty good grasp of the guys that are around you that have comparable records, is there somebody that you definitively want, or just bring on anybody, bring on the fights?
No, I think I don't have anybody specifically I'm shooting for, except for guys who have those belts, the WBC, USNBC, the NABFs, the NABAs, the WB, those junior titles, those smaller titles under the big ones. Any of those guys, because you have to fight some of those guys around them, the guys that they have made beaten to get points in that belt, that sanctioning body for them to look at you and rank you. Any of those guys, that's where I'm stepping at now. I'm pretty much feel like I'm done with the journeyman phase as far as coming through. I'll take a few more if I have to, but I want those guys where those fights that matter, where it steps forward, where I'm in the line to set myself up to fight against even in the UK, I've got a following there. The Johnny Fishers, the Solomon Dackers, those big guys,
I just saw Johnny Fisher won on today's card.
Yeah, Johnny, and it was the rough and tough, rugged fight.
The Romford Bowl.
Those are the fights that I'm excited for it to be viral online, Guys want to tune in.
All you need is a couple of those, man.
And that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. I mean, like you think about guys who just made a name for themselves, just being involved in exciting fights and didn't necessarily even really achieve a lot as far as belts go, but you remember them though. You're Arturo Gatti. You remember a guy like Arturo Gatti, and you remember his fights because they were so savage. And I'm not saying you want to get you want to get your head beat in every single fight.
But being a part of those is history. That's what builds a legacy. That's why we remember that guy. We'll always remember. I tell people in the gym, and they say, who's kind of what the career that you wanna model yourself after I have. Man, I met Derek Chisora in London. Man, this guy, he's set for life. He's loaded. He's got fights that are legacy fights from the UK on the scene and the world scene.
Hell of a resume. Hell of a resume.
Heck of a resume. That's the type of career I want. Not everybody is a Floyd or a Joshua or a Tyson, Mike Tyson, or Tyson Fury. But you got those guys around them that are just as they're on that Mount Rushmore of heavyweights. You always gonna have their faces there. I'm just trying to be in the mix and my face on that Mount Rushmore of heavyweights.
Well, I'm glad you brought up the Mount Rushmore, because, when you were coming up and getting started in fighting, did you have that guy that you kind of put up on that pedestal, that guy that you idolized?
The way that I came into boxing, it wasn't so much as, idolizing. I like the way that Muhammad Ali was all around, life, everything. I like to be that type of staple. But as far as like career-wise goes, I always instantly jumped into it from an analytical point. So I'm always watching guys that I can take something from and put it in my mix. So that's why my library in my mind of boxing is crazy, because I watch guys from the welterweight to the strawweight, all the way up to the heavyweight. I was in Vegas sparring, and they were calling me the heavyweight Sean Porter. And, I watch Sean Porter. Sean Porter's a guy who I pay attention to, who I watch his fights and study. So it was funny. I got a chance to tell him that I was the heavyweight Sean Porter. He said he was excited to see me fight. So,
and by the way, man, that's not a bad guy to pick, because I'll tell you, me and my son, we actually live here in upstate New York. The Boxing Hall of Fame is literally right in our backyard. And when I was there last year, Sean Porter couldn't have been a greater guy to the fans. He really seems to understand like what Hall of Fame weekend is all about. He was literally on the Hall of Fame grounds and was on his way to do his own podcast, on site. And he literally got, he was noticed. And then all of a sudden there's people all around him. He literally took pictures and signed shit and didn't move from that spot for about 2.5 hours.
Yeah. Sean Porter's a great guy.
Yeah. Good. Shout out Showtime Sean Porter. Yeah. An awesome guy.
Those are the type of guys that I like to model myself after. I want to be a fan-friendly guy, somebody that anybody can come up, talk to, take pictures.
Yeah. Let's also not forget that Sean Porter was the first ever on live TV with the quadruple Windsor knot.
Great Windsor knot.
We've never even seen that big of a knot on any man, but Sean Porter.
He does know how to get a thick knot. He does know how to get
another. I think he got another tie wrapped up inside there. That shit is like this.
Is that really the theory you're going with? Can people do that, or are you just
I don't
making
know,
fun of
man. But I don't know what he's doing.
He did have a very wide knot the last time that I saw him, though, and he wears it well.
There was a time in my life when I cared about what knot style, and I looked up, man, style. I'd never seen a knot that wide in my entire life.
Yeah,
he's got something special.
Well, maybe if he's at the Hall of Fame this year, man, you can ask him how he gets that big of a fat knot. I'll try to get him on here, but
that's a good question. That's a good question to ask him for sure.
Yeah, of all the questions, where you get a chance to.
I want to ask you, because you said you were a Louisville guy.
Yeah.
Yo, something popped up on my page the other day, and it brought me back crazy to a time of, like, you said you was a football guy too, so you gotta like basketball, right?
Yeah.
Louisville with Russ Smith and Peyton Siva.
That was a
team. Dang.
Yeah, that was a team.
That was
a crazy team.
To a time, man.
That was 2014, wasn't it? That was 2014, wasn't it?
It might have been.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Damn, that boy Russ Smith was good. What happened?
They just retired his jersey like last week.
Oh,
man. They just brought him back. I seen on the news last week. They just brought him back. They retired his jersey. Had a big ceremony at the stadium and everything. Yeah, so he's up in the rafters now with the other guys.
He belongs.
Yeah, he does belong. Sure. Yeah,
he owns a bourbon company now.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that makes sense in Kentucky, right? With that good old Kentucky bourbon going. Now, and now, as far as is the trajectory of your career, we just started 2024. How busy do you want to be? Like if you had your way, how many times would you fight in 2024? You just fought here a couple weeks ago.
Right. By the end of this year, I'd like to be 15-0.
Okay.
15-0. I was speaking with the guy, not maybe yesterday. I was doing a podcast, and he had brought up, and I remember I was speaking to another guy on my Facebook. He messaged me. He said, this was during the time where I was going back and forth to Miami training. He was like, man, where you been at? He said, I don't know if you realize, but you was the busiest heavyweight during COVID. When COVID had hit, and they shut everything down, I think I had 4 or 5 fights that year, back to back. You know, we were still putting fights on here, and I was still getting people in there to come watch, and it was back to back. I had got a good sponsor. My brother had sponsored me, and we took that money and we flipped it right over and was like, pay for my next 5 fights. Boom, boom, boom. And I was like 10-0 by the end of that year. So hopefully I can repeat that. You know, starting off January, we got a fight. I plan on doing, you guys heard of the Team Combat League?
Yeah.
So I plan on just, you know, getting busy, staying busy, a way to make money. The Team Combat League is kind of like positioned in the spot where there's no fights. So I think the next fights that are going to be held in this region, unless I'm approached by somebody else with a crazy offer, is going to be in the summer. So there's going to be 2 in the summer I hope to get off, and then 2 more right around November, December time, because I know we got 2 promoters here that do winter cards, December cards. So yeah, I'm hoping to get 2 in the summer, 2 in the winter, and then in January with the Team Combat League in the middle. So I want to stay busy and just keep pushing it.
You got it mapped out. Out. So obviously we just got some big news that it looks like a wrench has been thrown into our big undisputed heavyweight fight because Tyson Fury got a massive cut. Real or bullshit?
I think it's real.
Okay.
I think it's real. I seen the cut. I seen a picture of it. It looked real to me.
Yeah.
The shot looked real. I think so. But
I just saw the shot today myself for the first time too. But I mean, still, you know, they had headgear on, man. But I mean, what happens in that situation where you've got millions of dollars on the table and Tyson Fury's sparring partner comes in and does that to him? Will there be a penalty for this guy? Is that a black eye on his own career?
No. You know what? I think that it does puts a sticky note on your career.
Yeah.
Because they know that you don't know how to work. A sparring partner is something that you have to develop and to be able to help yourself, help somebody else. Because if we bring you in and every time we get in there, you're balls to the wall in a session, my guy, to the point to where he may not be learning or doing what he's doing because he's going to revert to what he knows to get you off of him, if that makes sense.
Right.
Whereas instead of us working the game plan, so that he can have that game plan for the night of the fight, you know, each session is different. You know, some sessions you go for it. Some sessions they may even put a bonus out there and say, hey, if you can catch him with some shots and set him down, we may give you an extra 1,000 here. So that's more incentive for you to go in there and try to put pressure on him. But
push him a little, yeah.
But you never want to hurt the guy who you're helping plan to get ready, because that slows and stops the money for everybody in the camp, everybody everywhere. You know, now where you would have had 2 more weeks to make some more money, now that's shut down. You sent home, he goes home, everybody goes home until his cut heals.
Yeah.
So I think it does put a sticky note on him, like, hey, we're not going to invite this guy out. So now you done messed up your work. That's work that you can't get.
Yeah, that does suck. And it makes you look like kind of like you're kind of sloppy.
Don't you think even though he can't spar, though, he can still be doing all the same calisthenics and everything else? So
I don't think Fury's gonna stop. I think that this is a blessing for Fury because now he can get in even better shape.
And he looks in great shape now.
And he looks in great shape now. So this is just more preparation he's gonna have because Usyk is a monster.
Yeah.
He's and one thing with these big guys that I tell everybody, and even you can see even in the sparring, with a big guy of that, it takes a lot for him to move, 1. And 2, when you get close to them like that, they're not moving as fast as you are. And when you're a smaller guy like Usyk, smaller guys like Ruiz, me, you know, when we get close, we can let our hands off at just as fast as a light heavyweight cruiserweight.
Yeah.
So these bigger guys have trouble, so he's got to be able to move his feet and move that big 6'9" frame around that ring for 12 rounds until he can catch Usyk.
And now, wait, now you're calling yourself a small guy. So what do you like to come in? Like, what do you like to come in weighing about? Like, what's, a prime weight for you to come into a fight?
So this last fight was the lightest I've weighed in at any of my pro fights, and I was 270 this fight.
Jesus Christ. I was going to say, man, you're calling yourself a small guy at fucking 270. I mean, for God's sakes.
I'm short. I'm
shorter.
I'm shorter. I'm 5'10", about 5'10" and a half.
Jesus, man, you're like a fucking fire hydrant coming at these guys. Like a fucking fullback.
But listen, I was out in camp with Joshua at 280, and the thing is it's amazing to these guys, but me always being a shorter heavyweight, I've always had to move. So being able to move myself and my weight, it doesn't really bother me at all. So I'm just figuring I want to get down low enough to where my speed and my feet is a little bit better, maybe 260, 255, 260, something like that.
Well, because when you said smaller heavyweight, I was going to bring up the fact that they're now trying to get a new weight class. This you probably heard this super cruiserweight, but you're nowhere near that, so that's off the table.
I want to get close to that though. Eventually, I want to get close to that. I see myself being able to get close to that because I think that limit is 235.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It'd be some major cutting for me, but I think I could get there.
I don't know. I feel like the barbecue down in Kentucky must be fucking hella good though, right?
Man, the barbecue, the chicken, everything that we eat and drink down here is unhealthy. And
you can get it everywhere too, right? Like
everywhere.
They say, it's like they say you can get some of the best barbecue like just at like a gas station,
Yes. Look, my fiance loves I'm from the downtown, I'm from the West End. So it's kind of like the rural area, the hood. So I took her down there and I introduced her to some butter biscuits from the gas station. And she thought they were the best biscuits in the world. You can walk right to the corner store and get some biscuits in a 3-piece and be happy.
Well, I mean, I don't think our barbecue is as good up here though, Benji's. What upstate New York is known for though? Good pizza.
Pizza
Yeah.
and wings.
Pizza and chicken wings.
I'd like to come upstate New York. I got invited to a fight. They wanted me to fight a guy. He's like a big 6'7" guy, 6'6" guy. He's from New York. They wanted me to fight him, Madison Square Garden.
Ooh.
But it was the same time as the Team Combat League is going on, and I already made a commitment there. So when you do the Team Combat League, you can't fight the time that you're on team there. So
you get work in there. Does it ever concern you at all? Because you were talking about a lot of these heavyweights, you mentioned this guy 6'7". We think about Joshua 6'5", 6'6", our champion Tyson Fury 6'9". Do you ever, how do you navigate those waters with all these guys having so much reach? Obviously, a lot of guys are going to have a reach advantage over you.
Yeah, just getting close. And then they think about this. So the average size of a heavyweight now is, if you go to the top 100 in BoxRec, out of all those guys, I guarantee there's only 3 guys that I know of that are my height.
Yeah.
That's me, Joey DeWico, Dakari Scott, and I think there's another guy. I can't think of his name right now. And Andrew Tabiti, because he bounces back and forth. I don't know if he's going to be a heavyweight or a cruiserweight.
Right.
But that there's only a handful of guys that are my height or around my height, and we all fight different. You got Joey DeWico. He fights more of the Philly Shell, James Toney style.
Yeah.
Same with Dakari Scott. He's more of the Philly Shell, James Toney style. But you got me. I'm more of the Sean Porter, come forward, Dwight Muhammad Kwai type of style. So
Mike Tyson, come crashing in there. Yeah.
Frazier, I get in the mix. So the difference between these guys don't have many guys to go for, so we're foreign to them, whereas they're not foreign to me. So I've developed different tricks, different things that work for me. I spar big guys all the time, different ways to get on the inside, little shots, little up shots. They got to deal with that, whereas I know that they only have reach. If you got a good 1-2 and I can get past that, it's going to be some trouble.
So when do you anticipate fighting next? Did you have a date?
I know for sure Team Combat League starts March 28th. Once I go down and I speak with the coaches, I look over everything, the paperwork, make sure that's all right. If that's right, then I'll be in the Team Combat League. But if it's not right and something happens, because in this sport, you never know.
Right.
So if that doesn't happen, I do have a backup plan, and I hope April, May, I'll be able to be back in the ring here in Louisville. And we'll definitely let you guys know when that happens.
Please do that. Yeah. And please, when you're sitting atop the heavyweight mountain someday, do not forget the little podcast that started out having you on there. Make sure you show us some love. At least shoot us a couple of ringside tickets. We don't ask for much.
Absolutely. That and we gotta get a podcast in for before and after the fight.
No question about it.
You guys help me and are doing interviews with me now, so I'll never forget anybody who does that for me. So I appreciate you guys.
Yeah,
I never get a chance. I never get a chance to sit ringside.
Hey, listen, I'll make sure that you guys can. If it's in my power,
much love to you, man. Much love to you, man. And listen, I'm glad we got a chance to do this. Please stay in touch. We'd love to have you back on from time to time, man. It's been fun chopping it up with you, man. Really.
I will. Most definitely. Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Best of luck, man. Best of luck, and definitely keep us posted when shit's going down, man.
Will do. I will. I'll keep you guys informed.
All right. Good talking to you, man. Much love. Appreciate you, man.
Much love. Talk to you guys later.
Yep. There we go, man. We got a heavyweight in our corner now, man. A guy that's got our back finally for once. No, I feel like
5'10", 270. That boy's Jerome Bettis.
Yeah, he sure is, man. I wouldn't want to fucking try to do a goal line. I wouldn't want to try to do a goal line stand on him, man. If he's getting the ball, man.
He's Jerome Bettis, and he can punch.
Yeah, Jesus Christ Almighty, man. I know, Jesus. I thought when he said that he was a smaller heavyweight, I thought, okay, man, he's sitting in a car. I can't tell. I mean, I see he's got a big head and a monstrous neck or whatever, man.
Yeah, but in the picture I saw of him on the Facebook, people you may know, I seen him on there one time. He doesn't look like a fat guy or nothing.
No.
When well shaped, you know what I mean?
Solid. Yeah.
I thought.
Solid. Yeah. Well, you heard him say it, man. That's some good Kentucky biscuits down there, man. They're obviously finding their way to the right spot.
That boy is dense.
Yeah, he's dense. Yeah, man. I mean, listen, Timothy Mayhem Moten. Keep an eye out for that name. The guy's already 11-0, 7 knockouts. Just came off a win here at the time of us recording this. It's February 3rd. He just came off a win January 20th. Fucking TKO'd some schlub in round 1. And so, upward and onward.
We don't really mean schlub. We just mean that because we're backing Moten.
We're backing Moten. And I didn't use the sacrilegious bum word. I said schlub.
Right.
I don't know if that's better or worse or not, man. But yeah, I mean, come on, man. Like now that he's a friend of the show, we're team. We're team Mayhem Moten.
You should kick him off your list tonight.
Huh? I should what?
You should AKA him.
AKA who? AKA the fans?
Yeah.
I guess I could give him a few if you insist. Well, first I want to thank Timothy Mayhem Moten, straight out of Kentucky, the Kentucky Headhunters. I don't know what the hell that has to do with anything. I think they're a band, but that just sounds badass, the Kentucky Headhunters. Everything just sounds badass out of Kentucky, man. I mean, but and one thing we do know that's badass coming out of Kentucky, and that's Timothy Mayhem Moten, man. And so happy to finally get a chance to have him on. And a big shout out to Tim Ray for making it happen, man. Former heavyweight boxer himself, a former opponent of our buddy Ike Abuchi, who kind of turned me on to this guy and said, "Hey, I know a guy down here, man, that you might want to check out and maybe have on your show." So big shout out to him, man. Always appreciate suggestions. Feel free in the comment section to suggest people that you'd like to see us have on. Like and follow us on Facebook. Like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. And just remember that this is the #1 podcast hosted by, here I go, Reckless Rex Ruger, a.k.a. Kelty B, a.k.a. the Welsh Warrior, a.k.a. the Toe Tingler, a.k.a. Nose Dome, Nose Bone, a.k.a. Henry Headbutts, a.k.a. Rex Round Tripper,
Henry Headbutts,
a.k.a. the Butterfly Blade Master, a.k.a. Mark the Minotaur, a.k.a. Big Sexy 2, a.k.a. Mr. Four-Bagger, a.k.a. the Big Stick.
Should I give him a few?
Yeah, a.k.a. Piggy N. Twistle, a.k.a. Gigi Fonzarelli, a.k.a. the Wrecker, a.k.a. Spiggity Spark B, a.k.a. the West Side Samurai. That's it for me for today.
Right.
I'm going to pack it in. You want to hit him with a couple? Go ahead.
Well, I mean, I definitely should because you like literally just went crazy.
Yeah. I did. I got a lot of AKAs. That's the sign of a true champion, man. The more names you got under the belt.
Listen, man,
skill.
I'm gonna take it right from the top, and I'm gonna hit him with that. Listen, it's Frankie the Flamethrower, aka RB Cash, aka the No More Backwoods Blazer, aka Mr. Ropey Nux.
You switched to a bowl. For fans that don't know, he switched to a glass pipe.
AKA Baby Busey.
Ooh.
AKA Big Chef Curry. AKA Dirty Dan. AKA Big Bucket Benji's. AKA the hash slinging slasher, as you already heard me say.
Yeah.
AKA the fried chicken phenom. AKA high flying Frankie. AKA lengthy LeBron. AKA the Waterville Wizard.
Wow. You did top me there. I might have to throw in a couple more, man. AKA White Tyson, AKA the Prince Protege, AKA Mr. Chubby Brister, AKA Captain Uppercut, AKA Jabby Gleason, AKA Wolfman Jab, Wolfman Jab, AKA Hammer Hands, AKA the Ganja Ninja, AKA Captain Irelungs, AKA AKA the Clown Puncher.
I got AKA Sugar Ray Rob Benji's.
Ooh, coming strong. Well, you ain't got this one, AKA Upstate Loco.
Upstate Loco.
All right, that's enough of these fucking shenanigans. For God's sakes, man. People don't want to hear about us we're already going and tainting Mayhem Moten's interview here. I don't want him coming looking for me.
No, man, if he goes back and watches this is gold.
Did it? Yeah.
But hey, Baby Busey here to tell you, shout out Gary Busey, because I can go 15 seconds with anything. Shout out Alexis Arguello, because he didn't say a fucking thing.
El Flaco Explosivo, the strong silent type, as usual, man. We've come to expect it, man. Maybe we'll get some input out of him soon, man, but doubtful. 50-50 at best from show to show, I would have to say. But let me remind you kids out there that if you want to be a champion, continue to watch this podcast and continue to roll with the champs.